الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب.
Assalamu alaikum, Umar. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Good. So today we're gonna do part number 6 of our happiness series, and the factor that we're going to discuss today is that when you believe in God, right, that connects you to all that exists, and that in turn gives you tranquility and happiness. And let's see how that happens, right? So we'll begin with simple, quick examples, right? So, for instance, there's an animal, right? Just think about animals as a whole, right? Animals. So animals, do they care about past, present, and future? They don't, right? Do they have ambitions, goals, and aspirations? No. So what is their existence? If this is their existence, right? EXIS. So what does their existence revolve around?
Food, shelter, and rest.
So their existence revolves around food, shelter, SHELTRER, shelter, and rest, right? All right. So let's compare this with a young baby, right? Under 1 year. So do they have any sense of the past, present, and future? They don't have any sense of any of these things. Do they have any ambitions, aspirations, and goals? They don't, right? So what is their existence revolving around?
Their mom.
Their mom means what?
Food.
Their mom means food. So that means food, right? So their existence also revolves around food, and they depend on their mom for that, right? So their whole existence revolves around food, and the same thing, they need to rest, and then the parents provide them safety, security, and shelter, and everything, right? So from this particular perspective, do you see any difference between children under year 1 in early years and animals? So from this perspective, there's no difference between them, right? But gradually, when the same child grows from, say, year 1 to year 5, right, their circle of perception grows, right? So besides mom, they now care about their dad as well. They care about their siblings as well. And what else do they care about?
Toys.
They would care about their toys and different types of foods and stuff like that, right? And then when the same child grows beyond, or more than 16 or 15, right? They move from being young to become mature, right? And then what happens is that they move from so initially they depend on seeing is believing kind of a approach to life, right? So what they see, what they feel, they believe it. But then they move from sensible to non-sensible, which means that they initially believe in the seen, and then they start believing in the unseen, and then in the realizable, and they realize inclusive meaning, and then they understand abstract reasoning. So this unseen, this belief in the unseen also includes belief in what?
Allah.
So the most important thing is the unseen. One of the main unseen things is that belief in the Creator. And that belief in the Creator actually distinguishes this man or human being from animals, right? So that's the only thing that distinguishes human beings from the animals, because now they know, when they start believing, they know that they have a past, they came from somewhere, they have a present, right? They have to do something, they have an objective, they have a purpose of this life, and then they have a future after this life. The moment you disconnect, the moment you remove this belief, what happens is that you remove all these things, and then their existence, if it's a human being, his existence revolves around food, shelter, and rest, and entertainment, and all these kinds of things, right? Nothing different than an animal within his power and scope, right? So the only thing that distinguishes a human being, or giving us the level of humanity, bringing us up to the level of humanity, there is the belief, right? Belief in God is critical, right? And if you don't have belief in God, then what happens?
You won't have any goals,
Yeah.
aspirations, or
Ambitions in life. And then there won't be any difference between you and animals, right? But then the question could be, you might ask the question that there are people who don't believe in anything, right? They don't believe in their creation, they don't believe in the creator, they don't believe in the future, and all those kinds of things, right? So what about them? And they are perfectly happy and contented. So apparently it seems that they are happy, right? That even if you don't believe, even if you don't care about the future or the life after death, still we are happy in this life. But in fact, they are not, right? And I'm basing this on the verse from the Quran, which is in chapter 20, Surah Taha, and the verse is 124. So Allah says, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً دَنْكًا وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. So that those who turn away from Allah, Allah says that those who turn away from my remembrance, then what happens, that I make their life constricted. Verily for him is a life of hardship. So Allah makes Ishatan Danka, a life constricted. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. What does Ma'ishatan Danka means, that how their life becomes constricted. And then Allah says, وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى, and they will be raised on the day of judgment as blind. And then they will say that, why did you raise us blind? And Allah will say that He raised them blind because they ignored the obvious signs when they were in this world. So, but anyway, the link that I'm trying to make is that we might think that even without belief, right, we will still have a happy life, but then they won't have a happy life according to the Quran. Their life would be constricted, and that is the difference between a believer and a non-believer. Look at this now. I'll save you some time so that you don't sleep. Okay. So the difference here, right? So if you believe, right, you're a believer, then you'll have a totally different thought process. And if you're a non-believer, you'll have a totally opposite thought process. So here we go. So if you are a believer, B-E-L, if you're a believer, and this is the universe, right? This is the universe, and you are right here. So the recent scientific discoveries show us that how insignificant we are in the whole big scheme of things, right? The size of the universe. You can watch some videos on YouTube that how big is the universe, right? So for a believer, the faith or the belief, this is the individual, right? It connects him. So this is the connection, right? So it connects him to everything that exists around him, right? So the whole universe The whole universe becomes his field of reasoning, field of contemplation, meditation, and reflection, and he is thankful to God. But on the opposite hand, a non-believer is totally disconnected from all that exists. He doesn't see any meaning. For him, everything is by chance, right? Everything is by chance, and there is no meaning in anything. And he lives an isolated life from reality, right? And the reason is that he thinks, since everything is by chance, so in this huge scheme of things, his insignificance doesn't even matter, right? Even if he exists or not, there's no tomorrow, there's no life after death, there was no life before this life, and all those kinds of things. And that leads him to the feelings of depression, anxiety, nothingness, etc. Right? But on the other hand, although a believer also believes and understands his insignificance, right? But that he links that insignificance to what the Creator has told him. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ, that we have
created humans in the best form.
Yeah, that we have created humans in the best form. So he believes, as per the teachings, as per the revelations, that he has been created in the best form, one. And number two, that the whole universe has been created for him, right? So when he sees at the clouds, at the sky, at the trees, at everything, right? He has a meaning, he has a connection. He is thankful for all the creation, and the more thankful he is, the more he follows his commands to do good in life, and that saves him from going to the extremes in anything that he does in life, right? That brings him that feeling of happiness, contentment in his life, right? So that's the connection. And if you look into the into this from a totally different perspective, that how Allah, so if you believe, then you believe in the revelations as well, right? And Allah says that revelation is a light for you. So it depends on the, so this is a light, right? So that's the source of light, and this is the zone, or the area that it illuminates, right? So the stronger the light, the bigger the circle of vision, or the area where you would be able to see, right? So if you are standing here outside the zone of light, then you don't see anything. You're in the dark, right? But if you are in this smaller zone, you see up to here. That's it, right? So the stronger your faith, the stronger this source of light becomes for you. So the farther you can see, right? So that's why there are several verses in the Quran which speak to this. So the more you can see, the more you can understand, the more you are connected to all that exists, the more satisfied you feel, right? And you don't feel your heart and your life constricted, as the Quran said that if you turn away from the remembrance of Allah, then He'll make your life constricted. So the Quran talks about this constriction of life and the strength of belief, relational strength of belief to the light at different places in the Quran. One significant one is chapter Az-Zumar, verse 22. Here Allah talks about the light, like the belief, as a light, right, which comes to your heart, and those who don't believe, or those who don't remember Allah, then Allah hardens their hearts, right? So this is one, and there's another one which is Surah An'am, and verses 125. Here we go. And whomever Allah wills to guide, He opens his breast to Islam, right? So these points actually were related to the to the sixth factor, and that is that true belief helps us connect to all that exists around us, and that becomes a source of satisfaction and contentment for us. And when we are satisfied and contented, we live a happy life. You're good now.
الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب ألا بذكر الله تطمئن